through 4 games, best offense in the NFL, 3-1, first place in the NFC East. How sustainable does all this feel?
Well, first of all, we all expected this, so I think that we'll start there. I think that's a good question because, first of all, I think the sustainability stems from how the quarterback's approach is. Jaden Daniels' approach, I think, gives you a chance to build off of what he's done, and then because we know they're going to start adjusting more and more to what they feel like might give them some problems. We'll see. Maybe you're going to see some more overload blitzes coming up or those kind of things. How does the offense handle that? But I think because of his preparation, it gives you the ability to maybe build on that a lot more, right? I think there's a lot of versatility to this offense, which I like. I think the scheming, you saw schemed guys getting open via the scheme last week, which I think bodes well for the future. But 40 points a game is hard to sustain. But I think being a good offense, I mean, listen, Tress Way is going to punt a couple times in a game coming up soon. I'm sure of that.
If he doesn't, I won't be mad.
Right. And
I'll just call him and leave another message.
But I think there's a sustainability. And also, like, I mean, they're new to this offense still. But Brian Robinson, I don't think he's going to go away. And I think Daniels will just get better. And so I think there's an ability to sustain it, just not at a 40 points a game level.
And I think some of the if you can sustain long drives and first downs, and some of these TDs are field goals, and say it's 24, 27 points, but you're winning games the same,
right,
and your offensive efficiency remains, I think that is huge for this team.
Right.
And I love the way they run the ball.
Right. And I think the other thing, too, to that point, they do a really good job of avoiding a lot of 3rd and long. So it's a lot of 3rd and manageable, 3rd and short. If you can continue to do that, you're going to continue to have success on 3rd down. Now, if we've seen games here in the past where maybe they've converted a lot of 3rd and 7s or longer. Well, that's a hard thing to sustain. 3rd and 4 and shorter, I think, is a lot easier to sustain. I think they're getting a lot of those situations highly efficient on 2nd down as well. And so all those help. And this is where
I think they're tops in the league on first downs, games on first downs.
Well, and I think, like, there's a little plays like last week, there's the second scoring drive. And I keep going back to this series because I loved it for just its simplicity and what it showed. But they gain 1 yard on first down and they're inside their own 10. 2nd down, just a nice simple hitch to Terry McLaurin for 5 yards. Put yourself in position for 3rd and 4. And then it goes back to Daniel's accuracy on 3rd and 4 to Zacchaeus because he puts it on the correct shoulder. Yeah. You don't put it on the correct shoulder, you're tackled the yard short, you're punting. You get it on the correct shoulder, he gets the first down by half a yard, and you got a scoring drive going. Like, that's the efficiency that I'm talking about and the simplicity of what you're asking him to do at times. Not even simplicity, but like, hey, don't get it all back now. Just get these 5 yards, put yourself in a better situation on 3rd down.
You know how he basically what he does, he leads guys where they're going.
Yes.
If somebody's in front of him, he settles them down.
Yeah.
That's more like a veteran quarterback.
The maturity that takes.
Yes.
For sure. That's what I'm saying. And, like, the poise that he showed, the 27-yard pass to McLaurin against the Bengals, like, everything of that, like, that one play highlighted everything about him. The poise, you have a clock running down, the play's not coming in, guys running on the field late, and an all-out blitz is coming. You handle it, you calmly drop back, you get drilled, and you drop in a dime. Like, that stuff translates to more success.
100%.
So I think, but to be Brian's point too, like, it's that accuracy is off the charts, and, like, you see him, the ability to make throws from different platforms.
Yeah.
The slant to McLaurin on the 3rd down, drifting back. The throw to, I almost dropped a word, but the throw to McCaffrey.
The 2nd and 15, the 17-yard game.
He had a few of them he threw.
Yes, but the one
here, throwing back.
The throw to Noah Brown on 3rd and 13 where they pick up 14 was
correct.
I mean, that's outside shoulder too.
It's outside shoulder, but he also, like, he had to get outside the pocket. He gets his hips around, and in that one, I think that was a nice design to get Brown open, getting over there. The backside safety taken away by McCaffrey running a post. So, like, yes, all that, but the one to McCaffrey, that 17-yarder, was tremendous.
Hell of a catch too.
Was a hell of a catch, but it's also like it's your progression. There he is, boom, rip it. And his feet aren't pointed to him, but it's that core strength and the upper body to get it there and a bullet in stride. Like, that was the whole thing was something to watch. Like, that stuff bodes well for the future. I would say
he's had some real lasers. A couple of throws to Ertz too.
Yes. Chancellor John look like a skinny Ron Rivera. So they're calling you John Rivera now.
Don't let these people impact you, Johnny.
What does that mean?
I would
John
not say he
Rivera.
looks like Ron at all.
I would say neither. It's like
Oh.
he looks like a skinny Ron Rivera.
Hold on,
John
John.
Rivera.
I wanted to ask you about this because talking about this offense, all roads lead back to Jaden. And I don't know. We're obviously,
Where is that? Like that?
I've never heard it. I don't know. We're gonna ignore
It's on the
whoever that
chat.
guy is.
It's where you at over here.
Yeah,
Oh,
these people here.
all right.
Jaden, I thought was going to be good. Maybe not
Yes.
this good, this
Yeah.
fast. But the O-line, we all had real questions about. And I think the O-line has dramatically outperformed kind of expectations so far. I think that's sustainable.
Oh, well, and here's why. I'm like, the one thing, even going in the season and talking to people here, like, I think they felt better about the line than everybody else outside the building did. And part of that was the thing I always wondered about too, is because we all had questions, right? And I liked the Biotis pickup. I thought Allegretti would be at least solid as a guard.
It
right?
was a dice roll, right? Like he had never been
right.
locked in as a starter in his time in Kansas City.
But what I heard from Kansas City was like, okay, there's a chance, right? So so like the mindset and all that, like I thought it was all good, but yeah, we didn't know. And then you don't know about the tackle situation. But I thought like Lucas has shown that he can go in and play and handle the job to a certain level, right? But I think what the hard part to know was what was going to be the impact of the coaching and the scheme, because like both of them hurt them last year.
Yeah.
And then the quarterback play, what's the impact on them on the quarterback play? So there are definitely times where Daniel's getting rid of the ball. Well, who does that help? It helps the line.
Sure.
And then there are times where they might give up a pressure, and how does he gets out of it? So you don't see some of that stuff. And then not running the ball, believe it or not, not running the ball 70% of the time is actually not a bad thing.
Right.
And I think so all that adds up to, I think, a better situation for the line to have success.
Well, looking at the fact that they are rotating the tackles.
Yeah.
That's tough in itself.
It is.
But they are getting away with it.
Yes.
It's not like it's a drop off either way. So it's that.
And they offer different things.
And it's a combination of different things where you look at the tackles, they have to be dedicated and doing a damn good job.
Yeah.
And the coaching has to be out this world
Correct.
to make sure that works.
For sure. And I think like using guys Andrew Wiley is not a guy that you want setting back in pass pro 45 times a game. And that's nothing against him, but he does other things well. Like he can get out in space and block. He can run block pretty well. So use your guys the way they need to be used. And I think it gives him a better chance for success. And, and plus like you're taking away some of the, by doing this, like it's more of a mystery what's coming versus last year. It's like, you just pin and go. And there are some things we might struggle with in pass pro, but overall he's been solid, right?
Sure. Yeah.
And so, and Luke, so I think there are guys
Coleman
that can
showing
move.
he might be something.
Coleman, I think
long-term.
Coleman can move. Like he's a good athlete when you watch his footwork.
What
man.
I love with Coleman is how he's able to re-anchor when
yes,
say
he
at the end gets outside of him or something, he's able to re-anchor and reset.
Yes.
And a lot of guys when they get out on the edges, you like that footwork, B?
Hey man, I saw JP really move. Hey, Landfill and Jeff, he really looked like he was offensive lineman when he was playing tackle.
He's got
Hail Maplewood, baby.
He's got strong hands too.
Yeah,
I think that helps. But these guys do a good job blocking in space. Biotis can move. Cosme can move. I think Allegretti can move. You've seen some of that too. Whereas there are times in the past couple of years where they throw a screen, but guys aren't able to get out there and block in space. It's like this should have been a touchdown, and it's a 5-yard game.
Yeah.
And why is that? So like using guys to how they should be used, I think is also a big deal.
Talking with our friend John Keim here, obviously a Commanders reporter for ESPN, the worldwide leader. You can also check out his podcast, The John Keim Report, wherever you get your podcasts and on YouTube. The test this week gets significantly harder. The Browns defense maybe isn't what they were last year. They've had some injuries, some things have happened, but you still got Myles Garrett. You still got that secondary. How do you expect this one to go?
They're going to have Myles Garrett is really good, right? Obviously he's really good and plays with a lot of strength and quick. He's got the combination that you want in any defensive end.
Yeah.
I think Koromoa is a really good linebacker, a guy that
could have looked good here.
Guy I'm not going to say, but when we mocked our draft to him a couple years ago, that's the guy I picked.
Sure.
Just saying. But he is really good and quick, and he's like for a smaller guy, he does a good job avoiding and shedding blocks. Denzel Ward is a really good corner. I don't think the safeties have played as well. I'm not sure Emerson has played as well as maybe some there had hoped, but it's still, there is a lot of talent there. So I think, this will be a good test because you may face more adversity in this game as an offense. And so like, okay, you start to learn more. And this is where the complementary football comes in. Does the defense, are they building on last week? You know, Deshaun Watson has not played all that well, but when you watch the game and talk, hear from people last week, it's like, it wasn't all his fault that they lost to the Raiders. But they, Amari Cooper dropping passes and Njoku has been out there, tight end, who's good athlete coming back, I think might be coming back this week. So I do expect it to be a little bit more of a challenge against that defense. But this is where this is where Washington's defense really, to me, needs to build on last week. And if you can't start stopping the run better, I think you're going to keep teams in games. As the defenses maybe get a little, if you're facing a better defense like this.
Do you know Chubb's situation?
I think the
window's open. I know that.
I would have I don't know.
You'd think it's the following.
You would think it's the following week for him, and that makes a big difference because like that's the one thing, as we know, this team has not stopped the run.
Yeah.
And to maintain a pace for the W's and the L's, you've got to get better in that area because there will be games where this offense will be tested more.
Yeah.
And so the good teams you play again, complementary football, right? I thought they did a better job with that last week, but what if the offense is held to 24 or 21 points? Well, how does it look? And so that's where we'll see where the growth is, because there will be games that's like that. I mean, I don't think it's going to be 1991 all over again yet.
Yeah.
I hope
it is, but I don't know.
I mean, and they're fun to watch for sure. But
how is Cleveland's run defense?
They've had some issues in that area, and so
I hope they continue.
So like
who's the big guy that just got popped 5 games?
Oh, Michael Hall was a rookie. He was like, and there's a reason why that hurts them, because they didn't have any first round picks. He was their highest pick. And he can play, right? He's an Ohio State guy. Saw him there. He's really good.
Oh, yeah, he was promoted Ohio State.
Well, but he was really good. But you knew he was really good. And so losing him doesn't help. Their tackles haven't been as good. The depth, I don't think, is there. I know they signed Tomlinson in the offseason. So I think you can get something there if you want, for sure.
It's going to be a fascinating game. I can't help but think the last time the Browns came to what was then called FedEx was Carson going back to Carson after the Niners lost, but they were firmly in the playoff race. Everybody's like, all right, well, we'll beat Cleveland and then move forward, and they got thumped. And that has nothing to do with this Sunday, but that's the last time this team came to town.
Correct. And that was a game too where they had started to find their offense just a little bit before that game, and Deshaun actually had a better game. And you wonder, like, he has not played well, but you wonder, what point does it start to click? I also think like that's a weird situation there with the play calling. Like Stefanski's offense is not a good mix for Deshaun Watson. They bring in Ken Dorsey, but Stefanski's still calling the plays. It's just, so I don't know that it's conducive to certain things, but like, yeah, you want to make sure that they don't go off, because they do have, like, again, Cooper has struggled.
Judy.
He's dropped passes in key times, but he's still a very good receiver.
Yeah.
Judy can hurt you. And
Njoku's supposed to be back.
Then that's, so like, you have to be wary of that. And so I think that's, you don't want, as what you also don't want. I think actually the Browns, have been pretty good at scoring on their first drives of the game, but not very good after that. So you don't want to give them any sort of momentum.
Yeah, the Cardinals were too.
One thing I love about this matchup is, for me anyway, it's hard to look at Cleveland and you look at what they did to get Deshaun, the draft, and then the actual salary cap, the money. You look at Stefanski and then Dorsey and how none of it's a whole lot of pieces that don't seem to have cohesion.
Don't seem to fit.
It's because of the owner. They got a bad owner. They have a meddling owner. And you know what? Washington doesn't. And I just love when I can point those matchups out.
And it's funny because, like, sometimes on my walks with my wife in the morning, we walk our dog, she gets a lot of like my thoughts, whether she wants them or not. And
that's shocking.
And today it was
when she tells you she's not walking with you anymore.
And sometimes it could be as simple as she might ask me a question like, "Don't you love the fall?" And next thing you know, I'm talking about quarterback drops and like the scheme.
One day, babe, why you running back home? I'll be right back.
I will say, like, she also knows, like, sometimes, like, well, if he's in whatever, just ask him about football. She likes football. Anyways, the topic was about that, like how important that owner is and how much they can screw it up. And when you let the owner make the quarterback decisions, as we've seen here, it can really screw things up. And I think you look at Carolina, you look at there. And it wasn't even the trade. It was the guaranteed money. They cannot get out of that for a few years. without taking a massive penalty.
Johnny, thank you for the time.